Welcome, everyone. Welcome. Thank you all so much for joining in today's roundtable discussion. I see that our panelists are still joining. Welcome, everyone. Hello, hello. I hope that my sound is good. Can someone give me a thumbs up if we're good here?
We're good.
Perfect. Perfect. Welcome. We're going to get right into it today because I can tell these conversations are getting good and we don't want to go over our time. So, again, welcome. We are so delighted to welcome you leaders into this discussion today. We are very excited to hear your valuable and very anticipated contributions on her culture, the value of women in business. And this is a topic that is very dear to my heart. I've crafted my entire professional identity around this specific topic, which is highlighting the women of value in business. And every time I have an opportunity and a privilege to sit in these type of sessions, my first question is always, who here is going to connect and create the change that we all seek to see? So I'm excited about the connections that are going to be made today, excited about the conversation. And I think we'll begin with the introduction. So I'll go around the room, have everyone introduce themselves. Just state your name, your location, your profession, and what goal do you hope to accomplish here at GatherVerse? So I'll begin. My name is Devonna May. I am an attorney, I am a brand strategist, and I am the creator of It Girl GPT. But more than anything, I am a very proud woman in business. And I'm located here in Pennsylvania, United States. I've traveled a bunch and I've gotten connected to so many diverse cultures, perspectives, and the goal is always to form alliances with visionaries and creatives and strategists and thought leaders, women, forming these alliances so we can create pathways for other women to succeed financially and professionally in any industry they choose. So that's why I'm here today. That's what I hope to accomplish. And I am going to go around the room and have everyone introduce themselves again, your name, your location, your profession, and what you hope to accomplish here at GatherVerse. Daisy, we'll start with you. Daisy, I think you're on mute.
Okay. So my name is Daisy and I am in London. I'm based in London, but originally I'm from Kenya. I'm the founder of the Elegance Collective. Previously it was the Elegance Handbook. And it's a digital platform and an edtech platform that I started in 2020 in the middle of the pandemic because I wanted to share with other women the things that I'd learned since I graduated and I joined the workforce. That was about 4 years then. So the page sort of grew by itself and it helped me launch my writing career. And I'm going to speak about the experience of building an online brand and the experience of building a brand that many people can resonate with and the challenges that I faced and some of the triumphs that I faced, especially since I was creating it first when I was in Africa and there's a lot of barriers around building a business while you're based in Africa. But now I'm based in London. So thank you for having me here at the panel.
That's excellent. And that's crucial information that needs to be shared. So we look forward to those insights. Poppy, we'll have you introduce yourself next.
Hi, everybody. My name is Poppy Lydia Sillo. I am a brand marketing and communications expert from Botswana. It is a country located in the southern part of Africa. I'm in corporate as well. I work as a brand management coordinator for the number one telecommunications network in our country. And I'm also a startup owner. I own a startup called Pathway Media. So basically what I do is that I provide branding and marketing consultancy services for SMMEs across different countries. I've worked with entrepreneurs from Zimbabwe, Zambia, Nigeria, and Cameroon as well. So basically, for me, what I hope to achieve here is to learn what first of all how diverse women in businesses are from different countries because I know we're from different parts of the world. So it was very interesting to see if we have the shared challenges or shared ideas and etc. So I'm pretty excited to get valuable insights from each and every one of you here. And yeah, that is it from my end. I'm also a writer as well, just like Daisy. I write for the Marketing Africa magazine. So it's basically a magazine where different marketers from different African countries contribute monthly to share different insights of how the marketing landscape is in their respective countries. So yeah, that's basically who I am and what I do. Thank you.
Thank you, Poppy. We're going to move to Ileana, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Iuliana. I'm from Romania. First of all, I would want to thank you for bringing me here, to thank GatherVerse for doing all these meetups and all these summits that they do, and to thank to Christopher that he had this idea to bring us together all. And so I'm from Romania. I'm a founder of a small business, to say, in Romania, a Smart Synergy. It's a company that I started to provide services, actually consultancy services with virtual reality, in order to find a way to keep our human essence alive by using technology, so that maybe one day I will inspire other companies to do the same and not lose ourselves in all this technology era that it's much more accelerated than we imagined before. So and what I want to accomplish here is to learn different perspectives from global women that are activating also in other businesses. And I also want to gain some valuable insights and connect with you all, because I had a very strong experience in the autumn at the GatherVerse in the virtual world symposium, when I meet a lot of women around the globe. We were a team in a round panel, but we had such a strong connection that gave me energy for more than 1 week. So I'm happy to be here with you all.
Absolutely. And there is so much room for connection and truly enduring and connections here. So thank you so much for joining us. Is Anne with us? Okay. Am I saying this correctly, Jemima? Oh, you're on mute. You can go ahead. Oh, we're going to move on to Lubna, and then we'll come back. Lubna, would you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Yes, hello everyone, and I'm Lubna Yusuf, and I'm based in Mumbai, India, and I'm a lawyer and an author, and also an educator, as well as a documentary filmmaker. What I'm doing right now. But mostly my business is in the legal profession. So I am the founder of La Legal. It's a media and tech law firm based in Mumbai, India, and I'm here to just be inspired by all the working women in business across the globe. And also, I want to understand our place and position in the growing, changing world that we are all a part of. And I want to see where we are standing with, because with all the slogans of women empowerment, I mean, how much of it is really true and how far along have we come, and what are the challenges and what are the ways that we can help each other or understand our roles so that we can push along this line and make it a better time for the next generation to come. So I want to be a part of this, and I'm very excited to be here and meet everyone here. Thank you.
Likewise. And I think that this is a great group to get a really good set of knowledge and data from when it comes to some of the things you just mentioned. So I'm excited to hear about those things. Lori, if you would go ahead and introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, everyone. I am Lori McDowell. I am an author, speaker, and life coach. I live in Houston, Texas, although I am currently on a cruise ship in St. Martin. I'm actually on a marketer's business cruise with like 450 other business professionals, about half of them women. So it's an amazing experience. And I have a business called Reimagine You Strategies. And the goal of the business, as well as the reason I'm here, is because I think every woman has value, whether they're owning their own business or working in a corporate role. And they deserve more than success. They deserve joy and fulfillment and have a right to live their true purpose and to live their values. So I want to share that message with everyone else, and I want to connect with and meet other amazing women and learn from them and learn how together we can make that mission for every woman to live their purpose and have joy and fulfillment and value and make that mission a reality.
I think we're all here for those same reasons, and I'm so excited to have this space for us. So thank you, GatherVerse, again. Tess, if you would introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Tess McKinney, and I am the CEO of X Renegade. So we help schools and universities and healthcare implement virtual reality applications, headsets, do all the setups and everything. I am based in Nebraska, but I am currently in Orlando at the Future Education Technology Conference. Um, what I want to get out of GatherVerse Summit, I want to help and inspire other women to have businesses like mine. Being in tech sometimes isn't always a woman business, or and I want to inspire that, but definitely learn from all of you. Everyone who has a woman-owned business should be able to help strategize and compare, be in the same fields as men. So that's kind of what I hope to share.
Excellent. Mary, we're going to move on to you. If you would please introduce yourself.
Sure. Hi, all. My name is Mary Fashanu. I am based in Manchester, United Kingdom. I am a full-time entrepreneur, and I like to say serial entrepreneur. I am a strategic consultant, and I founded the Maverick Group. I also have other businesses that I founded, like the Made for More International Community Interest Company, which is made for women actually to thrive in leadership, business, and career. So that's who I am. And what I'm looking forward to is genuine connection with other women to create the environment, the community, and the change that I would like to see. So thanks for having me tonight.
Thank you, Mary. And Jemima, are we back? And am I pronouncing that right? Oh, you're on mute again. That's okay. We are going to get her introduction at some point, but let's jump into the conversation. So, as we all know, being a woman in business is a multi-layered journey. We face challenges that are common regardless of our ethnicity, of our culture, of our background, of our industries. We are all facing similar adversities. And what's most important and profound to me is that women leaders always find a way to innovate and empower and grow despite the pressures against us, despite the walls and the boundaries. So today, this conversation for me is sort of a wellness check and a chance to share what type of progress we've made in our industries and to share our concerns and also get aligned with one another and get allied up with each other so we can continue to create the change that we want to see in our respective industries. So the first question that we'll get into is I think I'm going to hand this one to Mary. And that is going to be, what unique strengths do you feel women bring into the world of business that are often overlooked?
All right. Thank you very much. I think for me and from my experience with other leaders in the world of business is resilience and problem solving. As women, we bring a ton of that into that world. And because apart from being in business or in our corporate world, in our homes, in our communities, in running the family, there's so many things, there's so many hats we wear, and we're able to juggle. And we face a lot of issues coming from community, especially when it comes to society expectation. I'm from Nigeria originally, but I've been here for 20 odd years. So I understand what it means to be facing things like societal limitation, expectation, what they want a woman to be, and us facing that and pushing back and saying, you know what, we're saying no to those things, those limitations. We're going to be who we want to become, gives us that resilient spirit. And I believe women bring that to any kind of business, whether corporate or you're doing your own thing. Women bring that resilient spirit and that problem solving as well. And also another thing that I want to chime in is collaborative leadership as well, in the sense that women were known to we like working with people. We like community. We like building community. We like working with others. So when we come into space of leadership, we create that sense of belonging, that sense of let's work together, that team spirit, that, just collaborative, quality. So there's nobody that's looking like we're working in silo. We are working together for a goal, a common goal to, push our company forward to achieve the goal of bringing the business to where it needs to be. So for me, your unique quality from women, that resilient spirit, the problem solving also skills, and also collaborative leadership and the sense of we belong together, we're all together, that community sense as well. That's what I would say that some of the unique qualities that we bring into the world of business.
That's extremely valuable. I'm hearing you say resilience, grit, problem solving, team building, just leadership, overcoming obstacles, and really thinking outside of the box. Um, and I'm going to bring this question to you. What benefits do businesses experience when they have women who have these particular set of skills inside of leadership roles? So how are women with these skills benefiting businesses, and how can they broaden their perspective and their respect and really start to see women as leaders within these different roles? What are your thoughts on that? How would businesses benefit from women with these types of skills and experiences? And that question was for you. I'm sorry. You know what? I'm not sure how that happened. We're gonna hand that one over to Lori. Thank you.
Yeah, so the question, is it the question that was up on the board? Because you were talking to Anne and I wasn't sure I got that. So
The question is, and I'm having a little bit of fun with these slides here, but the question is, what benefits do businesses experience by having women with these particular skill sets and in these leadership roles?
I think businesses really experience one, they experience a new approach. I mean, women see things in different ways, and we have been creating things differently, and we see much more collaborative. So the business actually gets a whole new perspective when women are in leadership roles. Businesses also experience the benefits in that women want to work for them because they see role models in leadership roles, and they see somewhere that they can aspire to. And if you're looking for amazing women in your business and all the people ahead of them are men, those women are going to think twice about joining that company because they're not seeing their role models. And the other thing I think is just women are just so supportive of each other that when women are in leadership roles, they really want to help everybody succeed. So it's a much more supportive and collaborative as opposed to a competitive experience. And I think this can be valuable for every company and for all the women and the men who work in those companies.
Absolutely. And speaking of, I want to take this next question to Poppy. I'm just going to get the correct slide up here. I want to talk a little bit about challenges that women are experiencing within within business and in corporate. Poppy, what can you give us as far as your experience? What type of challenges are women experiencing when they're trying to climb corporate leadership ladders, or when they're trying to succeed in business?
Thank you so much for that question. Having been a young person in corporate, I joined corporate when I was 22. And it's in the African culture, for example, respect, or in our language, it's called boto, is such an intricate part of our day to day. Therefore, there's a lot of blurred lines when it comes to the working relationship and having to respect your elders. And so sometimes you can have that stereotypic feeling where people take advantage because you are younger, but in terms of your intellectual skills and expertise, you're actually on the same level. So you're in the same company or in the same team or etc. So being young in corporate, I've experienced a lot of a lot of workplace bullying, a lot of challenges when it comes to maybe sharing my insights and being called inexperienced because I'm young, or I may not have enough life experiences as much as my team members. So those are one of the challenges that I faced in my career. However, through interactions with other African women in leadership and other African entrepreneurs, women and entrepreneurs as well, from different countries, the challenges are almost very similar. There's a bias of being a woman. There's a fact that maybe, let's say, for example, another client of mine from Cameroon actually mentioned that, she leads a pack of men, and therefore that sometimes she experienced a lot of pushback in terms of her authority to lead, or her authority to delegate, or her authority in giving them role and tasks in order for them to achieve their intended goals. So these are some of the challenges that we meet as and as women, and I feel like there's a lot of also in terms of how people interact with us, or other men in particular, because we're maybe too emotional, or we don't know what we're doing, or etc. Because we exert a lot of emotional intelligence when making decisions. So these are just some of the challenges that I've met, and I've had a couple of experiences, as well as other clients of mine or other women that I know in leadership as well. And so yeah, these are some of the challenges that I've experienced and know of.
Thank you for that. And now that I'm thinking, now that we're talking challenges, we're talking, okay, what type of support, how can these companies best support the, unique contributions that women are making? And I mean that in the sense of, what do we need as far as technical support? What are we up against when it comes to funding support? I want to bounce that question over to Daisy. Considering your experience, how can companies better recognize and support the unique contributions women make to business? And are there some specific spaces, like I mentioned, technical, that we can improve, companies can improve to help make it more accessible for women?
So there's two ways to answer that question. First is for the female entrepreneurs. What are the ways that we can be sort of supported within the space? I don't know if you know this, but venture capital, I think less than 5% of venture capital actually goes to women, and even much lesser than that goes to women of color. So how can we support women? I think by first recognizing that women lead differently. So while men are always thinking that they want a bigger and bigger company that has more and more revenue, sometimes women are thinking more about impact. And women are thinking about, how can we have better communities? How can we have better employee benefits, for example? Or how can we have better ways that women can be supported in the workplace? So first of all, we have to think that women lead differently, and the needs that they have when it comes to also building a business is very different. So I think looking at spaces that support social enterprises, for example, because that starts from the heart, and then it's more about the impact that people have in the society. Creating spaces where women can build social enterprises, or where women can be supported to have business models that support their ideas, will be a great first step to also making it possible to increase the funding that women receive. Because if you're looking at a high-tech business model versus looking at a social enterprise business model, those are two very different things. And it's important to understand that the outcomes of those two are going to be different. So for example, instead of just looking at the revenue, you can also look at the social metrics, and you can look at the impact that is coming from those businesses. The second way of looking at this question will be thinking about women actually being in the workplace. Like, how can they be supported being there? I think the women are overlooked in many ways. So for example, I have this brand where I talk about feminine energy, and I talk about how women are built differently from men. So for example, men have a 24-hour testosterone cycle versus women have a monthly cycle, right? And men are able to go day after day, week after week, month after month, without feeling the need to stop, versus women, every week for us is very different. So is it possible to create work structures that support this? So for example, when COVID happened, a lot of women actually benefited a lot from this, in the sense that we were able to slow down, we were able to gather ourselves, we were able to get to a place where we actually worked with our own rhythms. And I think workspaces or workplaces are supporting the possibility of having, like, let's say, flexible work hours, or having the possibility to work remotely if there is a need to work remotely. Those kinds of things are ways of supporting women that go a long way. Then therefore, instead of feeling like you're completely drained the whole time that you work, you are actually bringing up your best self to the workplace, because it supports even who you are as an individual, as biologically speaking. And then also, it's important to think about intersectionality. So different women face different challenges. There is always the I can say the temptation to think that all women have one single type of problem. So just because they're women, then therefore you're going to create training programs, or you're going to create, let's say, development programs that just look at gender. But it's not just gender. Some women have disability. Some women have issues, let's say, with families. Some women are the only person that people are depending on in their family. So the levels of intersectionality are different. And it's important to have training that looks at women and says, okay, what are some of the challenges that you'd be facing even outside of work that will affect how you progress at work? Because how we show up at work is not independent of everything else that happens to us outside of work, but it's very much affected by that as well. So just to summarize what I've said, creating business models that actually support the type of enterprises that women have, and then also looking at how women are different from men, and is the workplace suited for us as it is right now. And then also, like I've said, lastly, is to look at the intersectionality, look at what are women actually going through, and creating leadership programs, or creating programs that enable them to tackle whatever challenges they have as they go forward. Thank you.
That is extremely thoughtful, and that really does require more building upon. So I want to take this one to Lubna, and I want to ask you to expound upon Daisy's point, where women, we do lead differently. Women have different unique needs, and to bring that into context when we're working within an organization, uh, I want to ask you the question: what changes need to take place within the businesses to fully unlock the value and the power of women's leadership? So what are some changes, according to your experience, that you feel, to just to build upon what Daisy just said, changes that need to take place within these organizations?
Thank you. An excellent question. A very important part of a woman's role in a company begins with trust. We have very preconceived psychological biases towards women, and sometimes, your role, no matter how well you are at you doing it, you people in businesses or in companies, they think that the women's role is only secondary. She will only give priority to her home first, or her family first, and whatever business, no matter how good you are at it, well, even if you give your 200%, sometimes we have to prove more, to just get that recognition, or that trust, or transparency and recognition at a very fair level, if we put it. So the first thing is to trust a woman irrespective of her gender, to look at her human uh, attempt first, and rather than look at the work from a man, trans, or female, whatever gender perspective. First of all, we need to get over that bias, I feel. Secondly, if we actually look at the global statistics, how many women are there in the CEO position? Only 6%. How many women are there in the board of directors? 8.6% globally are only women. So if we look at it, I mean, it's not that the women are not working, or they are lacking in some skills or education, or whatever. It's just firstly because of the social construct. We have to doubly work to prove ourselves. Also, we have to manage our home as well as the workforce, which is getting better, but we are still a long way to go. And as well as, when we reach that leadership position of being a director, or a very senior most position in a company, why is it that still the face of women are still in a very marginalized you know section? We are still in some percentage. So if that changes, or if that is included, if women are made a part of that board of directors, or the CEO level, or like somebody had pointed out, in the VCs, and how less of women are there in the VC positions. So I think that also is a very important blindfold which we have, that we think that we have, that maybe women take our jobs secondary, to our family, because if anything happens, she'll easily leave the job or for the child or whatever. Rather than we can make it more inclusive and give her that support in the workplace, irrespective of whichever sector or industry that you are in. It's not just like you are going to be a school teacher, so you get a lot of help, or if you are doing some not so serious of a job, then why is this kind of disparity in different sectors? So first of all, we need to recognize that, and we need to make it very normal for women to be a part of every level of a company's functioning, and especially decision making and in leadership roles, not just as a as a decorative or a presidential roles to just put our faces and just to use our so to call a nice CV to just present it in the company that, oh, we are inclusive, but in reality in the boardroom we are just shunned from the main decision making. So that is a very important factor, which I feel, the trust factor, transparency, and inclusiveness at all levels.
Trust, transparency, and just really getting over it, right? Like
Mhm. Yeah.
we're here, we're valuable, we're creating impact, we're creating change, we are creating culture, we are creating opportunity. So it's really, I like what you said about having a human first perspective and not operating from this default sense of bias or prejudice, but seeing people for who they are, what they can do. I like that a lot. And I kind of want to take this question to Jemima. Are you back with us? I think I'll give it over to, let's go to Tess then. Let's go to Tess. Tess, I want your insights on really how women leaders can come together from diverse industries and diverse cultures and really learn from each other's perspectives, experiences, and approaches. What are your thoughts on the collaborative effect of women coming together? Because essentially it seems like we have to continue to keep this safe space available for us so we can collaborate, so we can create, so we can make change. So what are your thoughts on the significance of the collaboration between cultures and industries?
Yeah, I think it's great that we have these kind of panels and that we have these kind of places that we can get together. I have like a weekly meetup with a bunch of women who are in small business CEOs. We have coffee over online together and kind of share, what issues we're having. I really think education of our potential counterparts who may or may not know that they're leading to like discrimination or having issues. I have a fantastic application that I use with a VR headset called Body Swaps, and it actually goes into that kind of detail, and it actually helps people understand what maybe they're doing that they don't see, and then kind of flips that script back on them. And there's definitely some eye-opening conversations that have been had after that initial uh, uh, training simulation. And so, I think people sometimes don't understand that they're being discriminatory, or that they're, that they even have a bias. Some don't understand what that is. They've never been given the tools and the opportunities to um, be unbiased or be able to fix that. And so, I think having, we have a significant group called XR Women that we meet with monthly, and being able to talk with people and kind of share what has worked and what hasn't in those communities is very helpful. But I have tons of male counterparts that are fantastic, and they definitely understand the struggles that women have gone through in business. They're always pretty helpful in helping me like negotiate things. I think one thing that could be done better is there's like, it's not very many people, not very many women run venture capitalist firms, and so I think that's a very lacking area that I think I keep seeing it kind of happening, but a lot of like bigger corporations are not giving women the opportunity to be venture capitalists. And so then us small business, it's very difficult to sometimes get into those venture capital firms because it's all men and they, seem to pick men over women, as I'm sure all of you are aware. And they don't see the bias. They don't see that. They think tech, they think men. And so definitely in my world, I've definitely had to work very hard to get to where I am. Um, I don't I don't always see the bias as far as men and women, um, but definitely in the tech industry, it's definitely a huge issue still. I think it's just that women, they don't think that they can go into tech, and so that becomes a problem. So we're trying to like reach out to the younger generation and help them understand that you can be um, a woman in tech and you can run a business. So just making sure that you're moderating and definitely telling those younger women, hey, this can be done. It may be a little difficult. I think hopefully it's getting easier. But uh, the support of everyone in this group is fantastic. I had all of you reach out. It's been fantastic. So I really think that just supporting each other is a huge benefit. Yeah, thank
Absolutely.
you.
Yes, of course. And I think that you're opening up the door for the next question that I want to ask that truly is a baseline for entrepreneurs and anyone who's seeking to find a level of success in their life, and that's mindset. And I want to open this question up to everyone on the panel. I want to know what your ideas about overcoming limiting beliefs are. I think someone's mic is on. But I want to kind of get your general input on how can we continue to inspire women of all ages, industries, countries, just education backgrounds. How can we inspire women to continue to believe in themselves, to continue to seek leadership roles, and not be bombarded by all of these limiting beliefs, the many that exist? And I'd like anyone, whoever's ready to kind of answer that question, just jump in there for me.
I'm happy to start. I really think women need to realize that they're in charge of their own career and need to just stop waiting for companies to give them happiness, to give them success, and to take it. We need to believe in ourselves, and we need to know that there is success, that there is the possibilities out there. And when you see things like that, you do stop limiting yourself. So you take those big risks. You're willing to go for those jobs, even if you weren't asked about that. You're willing to make it known. You're willing to start your own business. So when you take charge of your own career, so many women, we follow the rules. We've done everything right. We've done what we were supposed to, and it only gets us so far. We need to then make our own rules and make our own joy and make our own success, and maybe break some of those old rules and just do what we know is possible. Because I think when you do that, you really can change your own life, and you need to believe it's out there, because it's out there if you really want it hard enough, and somehow or other you can find the success you want.
And I agree with that. And I want to invite other perspectives. I just want to say for me, it has been about community because again, I come from one of those places where there was not a lot of support for a visionary. They couldn't see it right in front of them. They couldn't understand what the goal was right away. So it was very hard to maintain a dream, nurture a business, especially when you're the first generation to do so. So surrounding myself with women using the technology that extended my reach across countries and borders, really that building that community was the game changer for me. So I'm going to pass that question along to the rest of the panel. What are some ways that we can overcome these limiting beliefs and as we are taking on leadership roles?
I'll take this question.
May I pitch in here? Oh, sorry. I think we went on at the same time.
Okay, I would like to take. Can you hear me now? Yes. As Laurie said, right, I could able to see that there is still more stereotype. They have an unconscious bias when they give to a leadership to a woman. So inspiring women begins with showcasing a relatable role models and success stories. The organization has to provide a confidence building initiatives. So the leadership workshops and the opportunities for women to lead the projects in a very supportive environment. What I felt, the we have to prove a lot because they unconsciously have a bias. A woman can't do something, so we are pushing a lot to eliminate such limiting belief and make them prove that we are fostering in a growth mindset through a mentorship or reinforcing that leadership capability that was developed. And anytime when men come to say there is a no, I always say yes. Even before thinking, I'll say yes, but later I'll figure it out a way. So always we need to put 200% where a men can only put 100%. So that way, I start inspiring, and inspired many people to do the same in their leadership role. So that only could bring a very realistic example to the women to be in a leadership role.
That is fantastic. And we do have just about 3 minutes left. And I did want to I want to jump in and get Ileana in here really quickly. Ileana, do you have any offerings on this particular question? And I do have another question about ethical business practices. But if you have any offerings on this question, I'm more than happy to hear it.
I would prefer to answer to the other one because I'm much more oriented on the ethical. I can also add to this, but I don't think we have enough time. So I would prefer the other question.
So let's get into this then. What role do women play in driving ethical business practices and long-term success? How can we jump into these organizations? How do we change the culture? How do we ensure that it's fair, that equity is there? Once we do achieve the coveted spots, how do we make way for other women to break through those pathways? So just to simplify it again, we're talking ethics, we're talking business practices, we're talking long-term success. How can women, and what is our role in ensuring ethics and long-term success exists within these corporations?
First of all, from my perspective, corporations and any organization is the next level of education for each of us. After we finish our studies, we jump into a job, and there we stay more than 8 hours per day sometimes. And there is the place where we learn from experience. And I think each corporation is responsible for the education of their employees, because their employees that stay more than 8 hours in their company go home and they spread around the values that they take from that organization. And these values spread it around actually influence the society. And we as humans, I think we have the capacity to realize all of this, to see what's happening, to have a global overview about each situation, because we by default we have that instinct of safety and security. And because of this, we always think on a long run. We always think about the risks. We always think about how to do an action in an organization, or not necessarily there, how to do an action so that we can have a sustainable result. And because we have this, we are always thinking also about ethical and moral values more often than men do. And also we are much more how to say, we are much more convinced that doing things ethically with responsibility, we can have a sustainable result. And this is something that I realized from my organizational experience, and also from the psychological area where I'm working in, that usually men are most oriented into profit, into gains, into achievements, but they do not measure the risks. They do not measure the impact on a long term. And we already discussed in this roundtable about the impact that we as women, we can bring in each organization, in each group. And also our discussion here, it actually creates an impact. We can now take the insights from this discussion, and then somehow they will influence our actions in the future. So our thinking, it's usually, our mindset is usually much more inclined into the ethical area, and we are much more responsible. because we want to preserve our species.
That is really interesting point of view, and these are conversations that I'm hoping we can continue to have with each other offline and perhaps in smaller groups. In respect and interest of time, I do believe that our session is coming to a close. So, in closing, I just want to thank each of the panelists for your very valuable insights. And what I'm seeing is that we are still defining our terms and our needs, and we are still measuring our growth. We are still defining what systems and strategies and what key players and partners and allies are going to help to be responsible for the overall impact and change that we all want to experience. So continue allying with each other, working together. Let's connect on LinkedIn and on all the platforms. And I do hope that this gather was well for you, because it was well for me. Thank you. Have an amazing day, and we will connect soon.
Okay, goodbye.